Sairam children, today as informed earlier, we will begin with the first chapter of Supplementary Reader, and I will ask children to read it out. Here I'm sharing the PDF. Yes. Pushkar, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Can you read this out from here? And the chapter's name is The Lost Child. Yes, Pushkar.
The Lost Child. A child goes to a fair with his parents. He is happy and excited and wants the sweets and toys displayed there. But his parents don't buy them for him. Why then does he refuse when someone else offers them to him? It was the festival of spring. From the wintry shades of narrow lanes and alleys emerged a gaily clad humanity. Some walked, some rode, some rode on horse, others sat, being carried in bamboo and bullock carts. One little boy ran between his father's legs, brimming over with life and laughter. Come, child, come, called his parents, as he lagged behind, fascinated by the toys in the shops that lined the way. He hurried towards his parents, his feet obedient to their call, his eyes still lingering on the receding toys. As he came to where they had stopped to wait for him, he could not suppress the desire of his heart, even though he well knew the cold stare of refusal in their eyes. I want that toy, he pleaded. His father looked at him red-eyed. In his familiar tyrant's way, his mother, his mother, melted by the free spirit of the day, tender, was tender and giving him her finger to hold, said, "Look, child, what is before you?" It was a flowering mustard field, pale like melting gold, as it swept across miles and miles of even land. A group of dragonflies were bustling about on their gaudy purple wings, intercepting the flight of a lone black bee or butterfly in search of sweetness from the flowers. The child followed them in the air with his gaze. Still, one of them would still its wings and rest, and he would try to catch it, but it would go fluttering, flapping up into the air when he had most almost caught it in his hands. Then his mother gave a cautionary call. Come, child, come, come on to the footpath. He ran towards his parents gaily and walked abreast of them for a while, being, however, soon left behind, attracted by the little insects and worms along the footpath that were teeming out from their hiding places to enjoy the sunshine. Come, child, come. His parents called from the shade of a grove where they had seated themselves on the edge of a well. He ran towards them. A shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered the grove, and, forgetting his parents, he began to gather the raining petals of his hand in his hands. But lo, he heard the cooing of doves and ran towards his parents, shouting, "The dove, the dove!" The raining petals dropped from his forgotten hands. Come, child, come. They called to the child, who had now gone running in wild capers round the banyan tree, and gathering him up, they took the narrow, winding footpath which led to the fair through the mustard fields. As
As
they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths full of throngs converging to the whirlpool of the fair, a- and felt at once repelled and fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. A sweetmeat seller hogged gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi, jalebi at the corner of the entrance, and a crowd pressed round his counter at the foot of an architecture of many colored sweets, decorated with leaves of silver and gold. The child stared open-eyed, and his mouth watered for the barfi that was his favorite sweet. I want that barfi, he slowly murmured, but he half knew as he begged that his plea would not be heeded because his parents would say he was greedy. So, without waiting for an answer, he moved on. A flower seller hogged a
okay,
garland of gulmohar, a
uh,
garland of gulmohar.
Pushkar, Pushkar, that's enough, better. Thank you. Now, if I start telling you, the story is actually of the writer Mulk Raj Anand. This is the writer's name, Mulk Raj Anand. Now, let me tell you briefly about this person. Mulk Raj Anand was an Indian English writer, and he was actually well known for depicting the Indian society. He used to see what used to happen in everyday's life. From there, he used to get inspired, and thus he wrote simple stories out of that. He's supposed to be very had an international readership also, means he had many people who internationally who used to read him, and he was actually the first Indian based writers during that time. So this lost child also, it actually shows us about this Indian rural village with its own charm and simplicity. If you see in the beginning itself, you have understood that this is about a so-called, जैसे हम कहते हैं ना, मेला, and such a chapter was there in class 6th also, if you remember that that the chapter's name, that Rashid and uh, the lucky shop, isn't it? A game of chance. I think it was a game of chance, and the shop's name was Lucky Shop. So here, similar, we have one setup over here, and you see this child, as you understood by now, that this child is after, obviously, हम लोग भी मार्केट जाते हैं, हम जिद पे आ जाते हैं कि हमको ये ले दो, वो ले दो, and it is according to our financial this one that our parents get it. Sometimes they glaze at us and they show us the eyes and all, matlab it's actually telling us that no, we are not going to give you that. You can look at it but you're not going to get it. तो वो जब बच्चे की जिद होती है, they usually in public, parents usually stare back at you, and that staring back itself shows that it's a strict no, because वो तो बच्चा है, वो तो मांगेगा ही, and because he's getting attracted by all the stuff. So here, as you see, it is a festival of spring. Spring is, the month of like February, March, April. During that time, you had this fair over here. From the windy shades, in supplementary textbook, remember children, you have lots and lots of words that are very difficult. So you have to make it a habit to find out meanings also. Otherwise, it will take huge time for us to complete each and every chapter. And alleys mean, it's what is the alley? Anyone?
Gully.
Yes?
Friend and foe.
Gully.
No, no,
Friend,
no, no.
friend.
Gully.
No, no, no.
Ma'am, gully.
Actually, gully sort of thing. Passage. Pathway. एक गली जो होती है ना, हिंदी में हम गली जिसको कहते हैं, that thing. See, it's a narrow lanes, so it's something connected to lanes only. Emerged a gaily child, cad humanity. So here it means that the you can see कि हंसी खुशी कुछ आ रहा है in the उस गली में. Some walked, some rode on horses, others sat. So this is basically they're telling you what is happening over here. And some are in bullock carts, some are walking, some are on horses. And over there you could see one little boy ran between his father's legs. मतलब क्योंकि छोटे बच्चे बीच बीच में से भागते हैं तो ऐसे लगता है वो पापा के पैरों के बीच में से भाग रहा है. Brimming over. What's the meaning of brimming? Anyone? She was brimming full of happiness.
Overjoyed. Overjoyed.
Bhara, bhara. Actually, the person was full of life and laughter. This boy. मतलब आप देखो छोटे बच्चे हमेशा भरे हुए आते लगते हैं बंडल ऑफ जॉय दिल because they're having so much of energy and always the no tensions, no exposure to the real life, so they're away from all that, so they're brimming मतलब ऐसे overflow हो रहे हैं basically, overflow or full of life. And then you have that parents obviously are calling him as he lagged means पीछे रह गया. बच्चे पीछे रह जाते हैं क्योंकि उनके पैर भी छोटे होते हैं और वो when they come out in such places वो स्लो चलते हैं, घूरते रहते हैं जगह को. And the parents चलो चलो यहाँ से चलो. So the parents were pulling him and he was fascinated by the toys. As I said, fascinated मतलब वो बिल्कुल he probably had come for the first time, so he was all fascinated. उसको बहुत अच्छा लग रहा था ये क्या है, all that. Keen interest. Fascinated here means having keen interest in those toys. He hurried towards his parents, his feet obedient to their call. Obedient means feet obedient. अब देखो कितनी हैरानी की बात है, feet obedient है. This is the beauty of language. See, feet मतलब पैर भी कहना मान रहे हैं उनके कॉल पे. Usually आप कान से सुन के कॉल सुनते हो, but here they're telling कि feet obedient है means whenever they used to call him, his legs would automatically move towards them. His eyes still lingering on the receding toys. See how nicely they're told receding toys. They use the word adjective receding. Recede is usually used something receding मतलब कम होना. You must have heard about this word in science, especially when the water was receding, isn't it? Like you use this when floods come, and when floods come the level goes high, above the danger level, and the waters have started receding मतलब कम होना शुरू हुआ तो the danger level goes off, isn't it? And the floods are over. So here it's written for toys. Why? Can anyone tell me why it's written receding toys?
Because it's a shop and everybody is buying something.
No, see the whole, his eyes still lingering on the receding toys.
Ma'am, as he was moving ahead, so
Yes.
the toys that were
They
the
were fading
previous
away.
toys that he was seeing, so that's why the receding word is used.
या जैसे तुम लोग एक चीज को जिसको तुम्हें बहुत पसंद है, सपोज हाँ तुम क्लास में किसी चीज की फेवरेट चीज को, या नॉट इवन क्लास, इवन समवेयर एल्स आल्सो यू लाइक दैट स्टफ एंड तुम उसको स्टेयर कर रहे हो, एंड व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, सी द प्रीवियस वन, हिज पेरेंट्स आर कॉलिंग हिम. तुम्हें कोई खींच के ले जा रहा है तो ऑब्वियसली तुम उस चीज से
दूर जाना,
तो वो चीज आप छोटी होती जा रही है और आस्ते आस्ते गायब हो रही है. So it is the toys are receding. You getting it? तो वो गायब हो रही है, कम होता जा रहा है. क्यों? क्योंकि वो वहां से हटता जा रहा है उस सीन से, वो आगे बढ़ता जा रहा है. His parents are taking him away from there because he was asking for those things. Okay? So just imagine that thing or with yourself, then you'll understand it. As he came to where they had stopped to wait for him, he could not suppress the desire of his heart, even though he could well knew the old cold stare of refusal in their eyes. They're telling that even though he had gone from that place, still he could not suppress. Suppress means दबा नहीं पाया. Suppressing someone is दबा देना किसी चीज को. तो he could not suppress, मतलब वो नहीं दबा पा रहा था that desire. Desire means उस इच्छा को, that told कि उसको वही चीजें याद आ रही थी, those toys and all. And even though, जबकि उसको पता था कि he very well knew, मतलब उसको पता था कि जो old cold stare है, मतलब जो उसके पेरेंट्स उसको दे रहे हैं कि नहीं, यहाँ हम नहीं खरीद के देंगे तुम्हें. दैट स्टेयर स्टिल, वो उसको पता था कि स्टेयर क्या मीन कर रहा है. स्टिल he could not resist that desire in his heart for those things. And see how it's written, old coal stare of refusal in their eyes. So the refusal was in their eyes. Clearly it's written that it was not with their mouth. I want that toy. His father looked at him. Again he pleaded. The second time. His father looked at him red-eyed. Red-eyed means ab aur gussa aa raha hai unko. In his familiar Tarrant way. Tarrant means? Anyone?
गुस्सा.
हाँ, गुस्सा.
ऐसे ऐसे देखना.
Yes, it is. It is cruel actually. Cruel and very someone who is got very you see leadership and बहुत वैसे वाले होते हैं dominant people. So he stared in that manner, a very familiar one. Familiar why? Because fathers are usually considered very strict and all that. And in those times when the story was written, so obviously it is 19 probably 60s or 50s. You can imagine उस टाइम के पापा लोगों से तो और बच्चे डरते थे. His mother, melted by the free spirit of the day, and was tender, and giving him her finger to hold, said, "Look, child, what is before you?" So the mother, obviously, she was more softer. She was tender and she said, "Look, child," maybe she's showing something. She wanted to actually divert him from those toys. It was a flowering mustard field, pale like melting gold, as it swept across miles and miles of even land. So far away, they could see that there was mustard field. So she was showing him the beautiful mustard field. A group of dragonflies was bustling about on their gaudy purple wings. Now there are dragonflies over there intercepting the flight of a lone honeybee. So they are explaining what exactly was going on in that mustard field. Intercepting, you know that beach mein aana, all dragonflies were more, and then one lone matlab akela black bee or butterfly in search of sweetness from the flowers. The child followed him in the air with his gaze. So now the child has got diverted and he started moving towards the dragonflies till one of them could sit still its wings. Still its wings means? Anyone? Here, there was one word called gaudy. Where is that word? Gaudy purple wings. Anyone? Gaudy किसको कहते हैं? Am I audible? Once again, I'll come back.
Ma'am, Bharkila.
Tadak bhadak. Once again, I have attendance. Yes, I'll just take that attendance. Okay. Gaudy means bhadkila. If you say that she's wearing a very gaudy dress today, means gaudy मतलब बड़े तड़क भड़क वाले कपड़े पहने हुए हैं. And sober is obviously opposite of it.
Or ma'am, or can we say that gaudy means shabby?
No. Shabby is totally opposite. Shabby means ऐसे ही टेढ़े मेढ़े बेकार टाइप के कपड़े पहने हैं. मतलब not even dressed up properly. जैसे हो सकता है शर्ट बाहर निकली हो और ऐसे ही लटके हुए कपड़े. All that is called shabby means untidy. Okay. That is different. Gaudy means very colorful. बहुत शाइनिंग होती है, कलरफुल होते हैं, ब्राइट होता है. So the wings of the dragonfly are described as gaudy purple wings. And you should actually use such words when you see someone, or you can even, oh, that's a very gaudy thing. Usually it's not a very positive. Gaudy is not supposed to be very positive. Gaudy इसके लिए ठीक है for the dragonfly. But if you take upon our clothes and all, it's not supposed to be good. Usually you see Indian people ladies wearing gaudy clothes in this one, weddings and all. Okay. Now where were we? The child followed them in the air with his gaze till one of them could still its wings. Still its wings means ruk jana. हम लोग भी बचपन में अभी भी पकड़ते हैं, मैं तो अभी भी पकड़ती हूँ बटरफ्लाइज कई बार, एंड आई सी दैट सेम थिंग बिकॉज आई नो आई कांट कैच इट, तो मैं देखती हूँ मेरे बच्चे लगे रहते हैं। अब whenever we go to the garden, my son will always try कि dragonfly को पकड़ लूँ, and just because he has less of patience, he'll turn around, मम्मी आप try करो ना. So it's like we still do this, na? The still it means ruk jana. So he was it till one of the dragonflies just waited and rested. हमको लगता है ना, अरे अब रुक गया, अब हम पकड़ सकते हैं इसको. He would try to catch it, but it would go fluttering, flapping up into the air when he had almost caught it. और हमको ये लगता है अरे पकड़ लिया, और उसी टाइम वो उड़ जाता है. Then his mother gave a cautionary call. Come, child, come on to the footpath. Now she called him. Caution means ध्यान रखते हुए. She called him. आ जाओ बेटा, अब हो गया. Let's come to the footpath. He ran towards his parents gaily and walked abreast of them for a while, being, however, soon left behind, attracted by the little insects and worms among the footpath that were teeming out from their hiding places to enjoy the sunshine. So these insects were coming out to enjoy the sunshine. And if you see, gaily means anyone?
Happily.
Yeah, happily.
Cheerfully.
Yeah, cheerfully or happily. So he was running very happily, as it was written that the child was full of life, and walked abreast them. Abreast them means alongside. So abreast means alongside. Okay, he was walking alongside. However, soon left behind. क्यों? क्योंकि एक तो, as I said, the हमारे कदम बड़े होते हैं बड़ों के, and he was left behind because again and again he was turning back and looking at the little insects. So you see how this small child, उसकी कितनी जल्दी attention span कितना कम होता है. Attention span means अभी just to a few minutes earlier he was all glued to those toys in the fair, and now you see, now he is attracted towards those insects. So इसीलिए उनको बच्चा कहा जाता है, because it's very easy to fool them and divert them. So here a shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered the grove. Sorry, I've left something. One paragraph is left. Come on, child, come, come. His parents called him from the shade of the grove, where they had seated themselves on the edge of a well. He ran towards them. So they were sitting on the edge of a well when his parents again called out. A shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered the grove, and forgetting his parents, he began to gather the raining petals in his hands. But lo, he heard the cooing of doves and ran towards his parents, shouting, "The dove, the dove!" The raining petals dropped from his forgotten hands. See another example, that as he came near the well, हो सकता है वहाँ झाड़ लगा हो फूलों का, and जैसे you know झड़ते रहते हैं फूल, तो they started falling as he came near, and he got diverted from the insects to the flowers, and he started collecting those flowers, raining petals. See, so beautiful it's written, petals are raining. होता है ना, ऊपर से जब फूल गिरते हैं तो वो रेन ही तो कहेंगे उनको. Raining petals into his hands, in his hands. And what happened after that? What he saw a dove. अब उसने क्या किया, as he had his hands full of flowers, when he saw the dove, he started running after that, and he forgot his hands, and all those petals fell down from his forgotten hands. मतलब वो भूल गया, अपने हाथों को ही भूल गया कि उसमें क्या था. So beautifully written, hands are also forgotten. Come, child, come, they called to the child, who had now gone running in wild capers round the banyan tree, and gathering him up, they took the narrow, winding footpath which led to the fair through the mustard fields. So through this mustard fields, it led to the fair actually. So here you see, they were all going from there were a lot of things over there, banyan tree and all. So they continuously, as parents, they were calling out for him, ki jaldi karo, so that he doesn't get lost. And Overwhelming means, where is this word overwhelming? Is it there? No, it's not here. Capers. There's a word called capers over here. Where did I say that word? Here. Wild capers. Capers means playful skipping movement. You see children how they go? वो सीधा नहीं चलते हैं कभी भी. बहुत कम बच्चे आपको दिखेंगे जो सीधे चलेंगे. They always run around, jump around, hop around, and capers, running in wild capers means playfully skipping की तरह, जैसे हम कूदते कूदते चलते हैं. Movement. That moment he was going around the banyan tree. Now, okay. As he neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths full of thongs. What is this? Converging to the whirlpool of the fair, and felt at once repelled and fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. Thongs means a densely packed crowd. So as he neared the village, he could see many other footpaths full of thongs. मतलब every footpath had people, इतना भीड़ थी वहाँ पर, and converging to the whirlpool. Converging means like आप whirlpool किसको कहते हैं, जैसे गोल गोल होके एक center point पे आना. So it was like everyone were revolving and coming to a certain point of the fair, and felt at once repelled and fascinated. So he felt both these feelings. Repelled means लग रहा था भाग भी जाओ, मगर एक तरफ से लग रहा था fascinated means he also wanted to see what is happening inside. Why are so many people here? By the confusion of the world he was entering. Because for a small child, it is full of confusion. People going in different direction, different people shouting and screaming in the fair. So he was also fascinated, and at the same time he was repelled. A sweet meat seller hawked gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi, jalebi at the corner of the entrance, and a crowd pressed round his counter at the foot of an architecture of many colored sweets. See here, foot of an architecture. Now they've called the sweets also an architecture. Isn't it so nice? Architecture हम usually connect करते हैं with buildings and all that, isn't it? But here this writer has so beautifully written that if you see in fairs and even in shops में तो आप कम होता है, सिर्फ एक एक ट्रे ही रखते हैं. But if you see in बड़े बड़े मेलों में तुम जब जाओगे, जो मिठाई की shops होती हैं, they keep the sweets also in a very fashionable manner. They keep जैसे पेड़े वेड़े होते हैं एक डिजाइन में रखेंगे या स्टाइल में रखेंगे, उसी को देख के दूर से इंसान अट्रैक्ट हो जाता है और वहां आ जाता है. एंड वंस ए पर्सन कम्स, ऑटोमेटिकली हम इंडियंस को तो मीठा इतना पसंद है तो कुछ ना कुछ तो ले ही लेंगे, है ना. एक्चुअली दिस इज ए स्ट्रेटजी, यू शुड अंडरस्टैंड इट. जैसे इवन यू सी दिस मास्टर शेफ एंड ऑल दिस, द प्रेजेंटेशन इटसेल्फ विन्स ओवर योर हार्ट फर्स्ट because the way you keep it. So this is how the shopkeeper also is doing, that he's selling all these things, and the writer says that his counter at the foot of an architecture of many colored sweets. Previously and now also in villages and in such fairs, people use a lot of artificial colors like greens and yellows, bright oranges. So the sweets are of different colors. Now we people are getting educated and we know the harmful effects of artificial colors. Sweets decorated with leaves of silver and gold. So this is जिसको हम क्या कहते हैं हिंदी में, परत चढ़ाना, है ना, चांदी की परत. The child stared open-eyed and his mouth watered for the barfi. That was his favorite sweet. So here you can understand, मेरे को तो बोलते हुए ही मुंह में पानी आ रहा है. So you can understand the small child, he was probably coming there for the first time, and when he saw so many different sweets, and his favorite thing was also there, the barfi. He said, I want that barfi. He slowly murmured, but he half knew as he begged that his plea would not be heeded. Would not be heeded means, can anyone tell me? Would not be heeded means?
It would not be
Would not be listened to.
Yeah, कोई उसको सुनेगा नहीं, ये भी उसको पता था. That is why he murmured. मतलब उसको पता था, अरे कोई मेरी बात तो मानने नहीं वाला, because last time also when he told twice for the toys, no one listened to it. That is plea. Plea means just please, please, my request. Plea means request. His plea would go to deaf ears. Means he knew that no one is going to listen to him. Because his parents would say he was greedy. So without waiting for an answer, he moved on. So बिचारा कुछ नहीं, उसने आंसर की भी वेट नहीं की, he just went on. He didn't want bother to see what his parents were saying. A flower seller hawked a garland of gulmohar, a garland of gulmohar. The child seemed irresistibly drawn. He went towards the basket where the flowers lay heaped and half murmured, I want that garland. But he well knew his parents would refuse to buy him those flowers because they would say they were cheap. So without waiting for an answer, he moved on. So again, are you seeing how his attention and his likings are changing as he's moving forward? Anything he's seeing is getting attracted. So a man stood holding a pole with yellow, red, green, purple balloons flying from it. The child was simply carried away by the rainbow glory of their silken colors, and he was filled with an overwhelming desire to possess them all. So, next, his attention went towards the balloons, and they were so nicely colorful, like a rainbow, that he wanted all of them. But he well knew his parents would never buy the balloons because they would say he was too old to play with such toys. So he walked on further. So he actually started understanding his parents कि वो उसको कहाँ किस चीज के लिए क्या बोलेंगे. That now for balloons they would say अच्छा तुम अभी बड़े हो चुके हो, balloons से थोड़ा ना खेलोगे. So he didn't even bother and he again walked on further. A snake charmer stood playing a flute to a snake which coiled itself in a basket, his head raised in a graceful bend like the neck of a swan, while the music stole into its invisible ears like the gentle rippling of an invisible waterfall. The child went toward the snake charmer, but knowing his parents had forbidden him to hear such coarse music as the charmer played, he proceeded further. So again, the next thing which attracted him was the snake charmer and the snake. And it's written that how the neck of it's been compared with the neck of the swan. Because if you see the neck of a snake, it's usually looks like the neck of a swan when it stands and it puts its hood out. Uh, Ears, invisible ears, like the gentling rippling of an invisible waterfall. So it was, the sound sounded like that. Child went towards the snake charmer. Again, he went towards him, but he knew that his parents had told him not to hear at such coarse. What is the meaning of coarse?
Harsh
Yes,
music.
such harsh music. So his parents had told him rough. You can also call it rough music or harsh music. And stole here means, is it music stole? Here stole means moved or pressed into his ears. And yes, there was a roundabout in full swing. Roundabout means merry-go-round. Here roundabout means जो आपका merry-go-round होता है गोल गोल जाता है in full swing. Full swing मतलब उसमें भरे हुए थे खचाखच लोग. Men, women, and children carried away in a whirling motion, shrieked and cried with dizzy laughter. The child watched them intently and then he made a bold request. I want to go on the roundabout, please, father, mother. So here he saw that all age group were going in that merry-go-round. And this time he gave a bold request because so many things he had not told to his parents. Now he told a bold request. I intently means जान के. Intent होता है जैसे intention से intent. Intent means जान के उसने बोला कि now I want to go in this roundabout. We'll just, how much more is there? Okay. I think we'll do one or two paragraphs more, and what we'll do, you people even take out the answer so that next time on Wednesday we complete this chapter. With brief explanation, we'll do the whichever is left, and we'll discuss the question answers. Okay, okay. Srishti, can you read this out? From there was no reply.
Yes, ma'am. There was no reply. He turned to look at his parents. They were not there. Ahead of him. He turned to look on either side. They were not there. He looked behind. There was no sign of them. A full deep cry rose within his dry throat, and with a sudden jerk of his body, he ran from where he stood, crying in real fear, "Mother, father." Tears rolled down from his eyes, hot and fierce. His flushed face was, was convulsed with fear, panic stricken. He ran to one side first, then to the other. Highter and highter. In all to one side first. Sorry. Highter and highter in all directions, knowing not where to go. Mother, father. He wailed. His yellow turban came untied and his clothes became muddy. Have, having run to and fro in a rage of running for a while, he stood defeated, his cries suppressed into sobs. At little distances on the green grass he could see, through his filmy eyes, men and women talking. He tried to look intently among the patches of bright yellow clothes, but there was no sign of his father and mother among these people, who seemed to laugh and talk just for the sake of laughing and talking. He ran quickly again, this time to a shrine to which people seemed to be crowding. Every little inch of space here was congested with men, but he ran through people's legs. His little sob, his little sob lingering, "Mother, father." Near the entrance to the temple, however, the however, the crowd became very thick. Men jostled each other. Heavy men with flashing, murderous eyes and hefty shoulders. The poor child struggled to thrust a way between their feet, but knocked to and fro by their brutal movements. He might have been trampled underfoot had he not shrieked at the highest pitch of his voice, "Father, mother." A man in the surging crowd heard his cry and, stooping with great difficulty, lifted him up in his arms. "How did you get here, child? Whose baby are you?" the man asked as he steered clear of the mass. The child wept more bitterly than ever now and only cried, "I want my mother, I want my father." The man tried to soothe him by taking him to the roundabout. "Will you have a ride on the horse?" he gently asked as he approached the ring. The child's throat tore into a thousand shrill sobs, and he only shouted, "I want my mother, I want my father." The man had the man headed towards the place where the snake charmer still played on the flute to swaying cobra. "Listen to that nice music, child," he pleaded. But the child shut his ears with his fingers and shouted his double-pitched strain, "I want my father, I want my mother, I want my mother." The man took him near the balloons, thinking the bright colors of the balloons would distract the child's attention and quieten him. "Would you like a rainbow colored balloon?" He persuasively asked. The child turned his eyes from the flying balloons and just sobbed. I want my mother. I want my father. The man, still trying to make the child happy, bore him to the gate where the flower seller sat. Look, can you smell those nice flowers, child? Would you like a garland to put round your neck? The child turned his nose away from the basket and retreated his sobs. I want my mother, I want my father. Thinking to humor his disconsolate charge by a gift of sweets, the man took him to the counter of the sweet shop. What sweets would you like, child? He asked. The child turned his face from the sweet shop and only sobbed. I want my mother, I want my father.
Okay. So here we don't know what happened actually, whether he got his parents or not. But if you see carefully, the second part which Srishti read was quite easy, doesn't have many difficult words. And here we come to know that the child is lost in the fair, and it's usually in the fair only that children get lost. And we don't even know whether he's actually met his parents, only the story is still here. Probably we'll read the whole novel, only then we'll understand. This is only a particular chapter of this novel. So here it's almost time. We'll start from the third page, isn't it? So, we had done how many pages? 1, 2, and 3. Three chapter pages we've done. We'll start with the fourth page. Okay. So I'm coming back to the meeting. So please take out those answers also and come prepared. Then what we'll do after this chapter is over, we'll again have a small Google form test of this chapter only. Okay. So bye for now, and Sai Ram. Take care.
Saira ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Saira ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sairam, ma'am.
Sai Ram, beta.